Code Girls in Tech, Grace Hopper Women in Computing, and for Gender Equity in Science and Technology. Usha holds a Bachelor of Science in Electronics, Masters in Computer Applications from India, and PhD in Technology and E-Learning from Arizona. Welcome, Usha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Narendra. Thank you for having me here. One moment. Let me go into one second. Let me go ahead and present my. Should I have to do a window or your entire screen?
Up to you. You can share either ways.
Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Not yet.
No. Okay. How about now?
Yeah, it's just presenting.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So thank you so much, Narendra, for your introduction. Also, I would like to add a couple of things. He has said it all. I'm an impactful product management and solution development leader for over 20 years of experience. So being in the InsurTech currently, I was challenged. I challenged myself to take risks. So I moved from academia to InsurTech and making sure that I don't burn the bridges. I also have a strong affiliation with Arizona State University. I'm still a faculty associate over there, so that I could be able to help them with undergraduate research committee events, and as well as we do one more thing in graduate level called MORE, which is for master's degree graduate research committee. So in both, I'm an active member. So moving on, as I mentioned in the last evening's, last afternoon's call, I also do partnerships with all the universities, and majority I focus on Arizona State University, which is local to me. So happy to see so many students over here, and a few of the things that the takeaway that it's going to be from this session is, we all heard from Mr. Inmon just an hour ago, and since he has talked about the giving a generic view of the holistic approach of what exactly is right from the data warehouse and what courses to take and what is data science. So I do not want to talk about this, once again, starting with what is the data science. I'm pretty sure you all know about it, who are all in here. So I'm going to go into asking like why we need data science, okay? And that's where I would like to start with. So you might have seen this, I can do a, hold on a second. So I gave some examples yesterday where we talked about food and agriculture, and I also gave some examples in, I believe, food and agriculture, and I also talked about robotic RPA in the automation side. So let's pause for a while. Let's see, like, pause for a minute and see, like, here you see e-commerce, manufacturing, banking, finance, transport, and you see healthcare. All these places, it says like, okay, for analysis, for drug discovery, if you take healthcare, right now that is the most in the spotlight because of everybody is trying to combat COVID. So we are trying to see in all these places, you see the analysis, like understanding how we understand the data, how we gather. First we need to know, starting with understanding the data, and then how we conceptualize and analyze the data. And then what we go about doing is like how we create the model, right? So it's kind of data science as such is like not just the hard skills that you can develop. You need to have the combination of hard and soft skills. So if you see here, apart from this, a question for the all these examples that you have been seeing, I would like to ask what that you don't see in here as examples of applications. Can you provide, on the chat? I will, okay, one second. I would like to see, like, on the chat, if you could tell me one other application other than e-commerce, manufacturing, banking, on the things that has been listed out here. One application saying like, okay, this is in this place data science is used. Do we use data science everywhere, or is it in only in certain places that we use? Give an example that's not on this slide, please. I'll go into the chat. I hope you all are able to understand the question that I'm asking. Food industry, okay. Tourism, okay. Automobile. Speech recognition. Please see autonomous vehicles here. Yes, okay. Gaming. So I believe Pavita mentioned about tourism. Let me ask this question. So when you mention about tourism, there are websites like booking.com, TripAdvisor, Expedia, all those things, right? So, and even let's take Airbnb. So right now, the market is kind of low, playing a low key only because, none of us can travel. But looking at all these sites, do you think data scientists, there are a lot of data scientists being hired in these areas? It's not just for Pavita, I'm just asking a generalized question to the entire group. Marsh. No, data science is not used in travel sites. What can we predict? What can we analyze? Don't we predict something on that? Can somebody give a couple of examples, like not examples, like explain in 2 bulleted lists, like give me one response where it could talk about like what kind of prediction that they would do on these sites. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. So wish list. Yeah. Even if you go into Amazon or any, what do you have, a big basket or something, right? So all these sites that you go to, that there are wish list. If you see those, some of the items and you do not want to purchase right away, you put it in the wish list. Similarly, over here, we cannot go to all the places right away, but you have these wish list. Then they will say, okay, this particular place you have, even Southwest or any, like I'm talking about in here, the domain. So like the planes over there, if they have any deals, then or how does that come to your email inbox? It's because that you have visited those, like let's say I want to travel to Switzerland and I look at those places, then it captures all those things, and then it makes it keeps it in the database. And the more the data that it gets, the model, then it's being trained, saying like, okay, this particular user profile is wanting to go to, their interest is to go to Europe. So if there are any deals, they will keep sending you those emails. So that's all done behind the work, behind the scenes. You see, the data scientists are the ones that are put to work. Does that make sense? So, Christy, I'm not sure, you mentioned no, so I just was trying to explain for you. And if you have any questions, you can hold on to the thought and I can explain further at the end of the QA session. Okay? Thank you. So let's go, let me move forward. We have only a few, another 14 minutes, I guess, right? Yeah. Okay, before my QA session. So let's go here. So if you see, 42% of task covers will be performed by machines and algorithms. So this I took it from the World Economic Forum, and so 42% that they say the all ML algorithms, the machine learning will take it. It doesn't mean, see, when AI comes into picture, it doesn't mean our jobs are being taken away or like humans are replaced. Humans need to make the machines intelligent. Without humans, AI is not going to perform better. Else, AI, it's kind of goes hand in hand. Humans, when it comes to humans making the AI better and better at the same time, hold on to the thought that I'm going to explain about what is called AI governance that we might need, which is like where we should not impose our bias. So that is there, which we would notice in every model that we cannot, like, it's like we cannot say we have eliminated eliminated hunger. We can only say we are trying to reduce the food, reduce the hunger, or we strive to eliminate hunger or eliminate food waste, but we can only say we are trying to reduce that, right? So our vision is to eliminate, but we want to reduce. So likewise, if you think of the bias that can happen, the bias in AI, it can happen because as I mentioned, let's hold on to the thought. So humans, as you see here, that 42 percentage, where it comes from is like humans have to make the machines intelligent. Machines cannot perform everything by itself. If I'm trying to create a chatbot and I'm trying to type a user utterance and see like what the response that the chatbot would give to me, the chatbot has been trained in such a way, whether it's a female bot or a male bot, however we are personified, we want to make sure that the the bot responds intelligently, and we make the machines intelligent. So we do not have to have always, I see questions like, there is no such dumb question. Because when I've been a faculty, I'm still a faculty, so the students, if I'm teaching an undergrad, they will ask like, oh, I fear to go into data science because I feel like and if I don't go into data science, it's kind of, they are playing both extremes, and they say, look, oh, if I don't go into data science, I feel like whether, the fear that I have is 15 years down the road, or by 2050, I'm thinking like whether, humans, more and more jobs will be taken away because of everything being automated. And that worry we do not have to have. As I just mentioned, that we make the skill, train, the more the data we feed in, we train the model. But at the same time, we have to be very careful when how we test the model, because we have to test the model not giving just a bunch of good scenarios. I have to test the model to make sure I give bunch of worse scenarios. Else, if you remember, let me pause here for a minute. If you remember, Microsoft Tie that was introduced on Twitter, that was a AI chatbot. If you noticed that within 24 hours, they had to take it down. Do you know what the reason for that? Microsoft built an excellent bot on Twitter, but the problem was, and because of time crunch, I'm just moving on. The problem that we had is because the problem that the bot had is like, they started, people who were testing across the world, they started giving all inappropriate words and to Ty. And what happened is, as the data kept going in, the model started to behave. It was like very manipulatively they have done it. So what happened is, it's not Microsoft, the users who tested, the users that were allowed to touch, the public. So what happened eventually is, they had to take it down because there were some racial slurs and there were some inappropriate words that the bot started responding back, spitting it out. So we don't call it that way. We mentioned because we train them as we personify, saying like, this is giving name of a female or name of a guy. So we try to personify saying she or he. So we end up noticing that Ty is not responding well, and the Microsoft had to take it down. So the reason I brought that up is because looking at all those things, uh, this is how we are going to make the using the data science skills to make the model effective. So the more the data that we give and train it and test it thoroughly, the regression testing up to the end. So starting from, so data science job is not done, data scientist job is not done just by creating an algorithm or a model and then they are done with it. They have to make sure up to the end-to-end delivery, like a product management role, where they have to make sure they have to play the skill of a product management and a project manager role in this case, where they want to make sure they have to do that unit testing, integration testing, everything before they roll it out to a product owner to test it, to see that this is this bot is responding properly. And so keeping that in mind, I mentioned here, when 42% of our hours will be performed by machines and algorithms, think about it. Which is the number one data scientist, number one skill set that they are looking for? All the organizations. Like, let's say, let's roll just, we don't have to go 10 years down the road. Let's go 2 years down the road. Right now, I know we all are in kind of in a pause, as if 2020 did not exist at all. That is how we all are feeling, right? Feeling hooked up at home, but at the same time, you all hear that unquenchable enthusiasm that you are showing today. That is what is making me so happy, that if you have this enthusiasm to come participate, to learn and upskill your knowledge, then you all are going to be where you want to be, whatever the role that you want, that you are planning to be a year from now. Because this year is, as everybody says, this year we are seeing it, right? So after December, so wherever you are applying for, it's still, there are so many companies still recruiting. You will be able to land up in a very good career. Okay, so moving forward, and one more thing, I was looking to see in this particular slide, I was looking to see somebody would talk about insurtech, insurance. Just because I am in insurance, and because we hire a lot of data scientists, and we have in different teams for claims. Think about it, for claims, if you are processing, like I need to have, nobody wants to go through an insurance claim, right? So if I'm going to, like, the insurance claim, it's such a mundane process, and it takes elaborate process. I have to call the insurance company, they put you on hold, and it takes such a long time. So instead, I could be able to use a bot, use a model where I could create that model and explain what the information is. No need to share too much of your personal information, but if there is a bot that is external facing, not just for your intranet company based, then you could be able to talk to the bot and file a claim. So whether you go through like a brokerage, or whether you trust that particular insurance company, you look into it and then sign up, and the bot does the entire job for you. So it makes the job easy, right? The why I brought this up is because here data science skills is very much used, right? So we do analysis. We need to make sure we may get unstructured data, and how it's like big data. Everything plays a role, right? So if you see, like, so this is why, why data science is needed. It's in every part of application that you take, every part of discipline that you take, we are using data science, right? So, and you saw this, and these examples what I have given, and the 10 most, let's go to the skill set, which everybody is like worried about, okay, oh, should I have to, they dread, right? Many non computer science students, let's say that they want to become a data scientist. Do you think that there are people who apply for data scientist positions who are non-computer science? What do you guys think? Yes, no? What about biomedical engineers, people in medical field, computational biology, people who, I hope you all are able to hear me. Yes? Because I see no, it's so quiet, the chat. Is everyone able to hear me? Well? Yes.
Yes, Usha.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So not just non computer science people apply for data scientist jobs. If you see students from, you do not have to have a PhD in order to apply as well. Students who have completed undergrad where they would be very skilled at MATLAB and R, and they would want to apply for data scientist job. I see so many students who are not computer science students or as data scientists, and so that is nothing wrong in it. If you like the career and you have a passion and you love data, this is the job for you. All you need to know is which application that you go into, like which domain you go into. I am in the insurance ecosystem. So if you go into a certain ecosystem, let's say finance, then you need to understand the knowledge, get the domain knowledge of it quickly as possible. So, and that is where you do that employment, training, and make sure that you really focus and go over that. And by doing that, what happens is you can apply that domain knowledge, because if you do not understand the problem, you cannot build a good model. Do you agree? Okay. So moving on. So the number one job in 2 years that they predicted in 2019, nobody knew COVID is coming, right? So 2019 World Economic Forum predicted that in 2022, the topmost job is going to be the data analyst and data scientist. And see the number second is going to be AI and ML scientist. So if you see here, just a year ago, it was in fourth and fifth place. Now it is the first topmost place. So, and it is like 133 million jobs, because that number might change. This is the reason is this is for the entire world that they are talking about. This might, because it's for global, and this is not like I might think like this might be a little less. Now with all this COVID situation, it has to die down. We get a vaccine or some kind of medication, and then we have to move on with our lives, right? And then this number might change, but still, data scientists, data analysts, those are the jobs like AI, ML. These are the ones that is going to be the topmost jobs. Okay. So how do I prepare for this career? This whole topic is about how to become a data scientist, right? How am I going to prepare for a career in data scientist? So a few things that I want to bring it here. What do I mean by don't discount the humanities? What does that mean? And if you remember Dr. Rati yesterday, he mentioned about after I attended the panel, he mentioned about, encourage interdisciplinary studies. Why do I have to do that? And another thing is keep up with the latest technology. Oh, come on. When we say latest technology, everybody gets worried about, right? Oh, okay, what skills should I? Oh, I know Python, I know R, I know MATLAB. What more I can do? Should I have to keep learning? And then I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. That is not what it means by keep up with the latest technology, right? Because since majority is a student group here, that's why I'm emphasizing, do not get worried about when people say you have to keep up to date with the technology. You will learn. You have to unlearn and relearn, as they say, and then you have to upskill. So how you're going to do that, I will talk about that point pretty soon. But let's go ahead and see what it is when I talk about don't discount the humanities. I just mentioned it in the previous slide when I mentioned only humans can decide how to apply AI, right? So machine cannot think themselves and say like, okay, this is the response I want to give for what you're typing, what the user utterance is, based on the intent and entity that has been, that's based on the intent. It will provide how it has been created in the backend that you would be. It would give the response. The bot would give the response. But remember, when we say don't discount the humanities here, it's emphasizing humans are not going to go away. Machines can only do repetitive tests, but they are not thinking. We are making them to think, right? And so, yes, I understand we have the deep learning, the convolutional neural networks that we can apply, where it can do all sorts of image classification. It can be able to find out if I say it's a 4-letter, it's a, what to say, if it's say if the model sees a foot image. It could be a 4 foot dog. It could be 4 foot. It could be a cat. It's just, or it could be, if it's like 4 wheels, it could be able to imagine that it says it's a car. But who is feeding the data in order to give you the right prediction? We are feeding the data, right? We give all different sorts of pictures of car, pictures of dog, pictures of cat, and then we decide. Yesterday, I believe we also saw one session where all the donuts, the bagels that we saw, there was also a dog rolled down like a, rolled like cuddled, curled up like a donut. So how it is going to do? That's all happens because you feed in so many different pictures, right? So you make the machine intelligent, and we are using those deep learning model in order to make it intelligent, right? So, and then coming to the second one where it says interdisciplinary, which Dr. Rati emphasized, this one is studying these cross disciplines. It will give you that flexibility. So for instance, my daughter is into my biomedical engineering, and then what she also does a lot in the computer science. So studying that interdisciplinary courses, this will make you flexible. So she might end up as a data scientist, or she might end up as a medical researcher, or she might end up as a biomechanic professor. I don't know, but I'm just saying that she is an undergrad. But I just want to say that these, when you try to explore multiple disciplines based on that, would also add value to your career path. Then that would give you more, add more feather to your crown, so that you will be able to make your, you will be the best judge by the end of your education. You could be able to make out, okay, this is the route I want to go. Does that make sense? So the most valuable combinations of skills that we are going to, you need to have is good hands-on training. It's no point in saying, oh, I did all these class projects. That is not going to help. Yes, you might have done class projects just to get the grades. So the class projects with maybe 3 or 4 people. But what is the hands-on training that you do? What do you do in between those semesters? Like the summer that you get a month. What do you do in between those like semester? Do you do anything productive? Do you do anything productive in the sense, not all the summers or not all the in-between semesters that you have to work, you have to slog. But if you have a passion in data science, then do something related to data science, a small project, a mini project. You do not have to prove to somebody else, but you can do this and create as a portfolio. And use, there is Wix, WordPress, so many other websites that give you that free option where you can create a website and put like, oh, this project that you did. So, and think of the, I'll be talking about Kaggle, all these competitions that you can have, you can join. And those all the areas where it's, nobody is expecting a data science expert. They are expecting how much that you can use, like your skills, in order to come up with a product, come up with a pilot. So that's what they are looking for. The idea matters the most, right? So those are the things that they look for. So, and then understanding the needs of the society. This one, what I meant to say is like, always have a spin to have a social aspect to it. Because when you're trying to solve a community problem, because nowadays, right now, we have, in this century, we have invented all what we need to invent as a technology, right? Of course, you might pause me saying like, oh, we do not have the vaccine. Yes, that is also going to be, they are going to find it soon, right? So, but what I'm saying is how we can have that coupled with that humanities, the human and the social aspect, in order to create these models. That is very much important as a data scientist. Okay, so I've given all this reference. If this PowerPoint is needed, I can share it later on through Mahesh, the organizer. Okay, so moving on, I have 4 minutes. Okay, what traits you should have as a data scientist? So I'm just adding these lists, but I just want to say curiosity, clarity, creativity, all these things I mentioned. I also added it on my LinkedIn post today, something about this. But only a couple of things I want to touch upon, because you guys know what is curiosity. As I mentioned, you all have the curiosity. When I mentioned that you all brought the unflagging enthusiasm today in order to join on a Sunday to hear me, right? So the clarity, how do you articulate? When I mentioned hard skills and soft skills, the soft skills, the clarity, how you communicate. how you articulate profoundly, that matters. You can be a good data scientist, but if you don't make your point across, then you cannot sell the product, right? You cannot sell it. We are not trying asking you to be a marketing analyst, but you need to explain how you created that model, right? And the creativity, have a lateral approach. What does that mean? Think differently, uniquely, innovatively. That's what they are asking about. Okay. And who is asking about? The business people, the organization, the business owners who owns that product that they are asking you to build in an organization, or a product that you are building on your own, whoever it is. Then you are the business owner and you are the data scientist, right? Skepticism, as they say. On the LinkedIn I mentioned today, domain knowledge is one of the most important skill, but skepticism is also one of the most important skill. Why? Because you need to make sure you ask the right question. You need to understand what the problem is, how you're going to collect the data. Is the data that you're collecting is unbiased? Because if I'm a girl, I might be collecting everything more like gender biased. If I'm more focused on females and leave out males or other genders, then that is not good. If it's a male, then he might be looking at more male focused, depending on what product that you're creating. So you have to make sure you have to have there will be some amount of human bias will be there, but how you're creating the data, and the data has to be unbiased. You have to have a clean slate and look into it without having any bias. And do we have enough data to arrive at a reasonable result for a business product? These are all the things that you look for. When it comes to data bias that I was talking about, every organization that I've been emphasizing as an AA practitioner, saying like we should have an AA governance team, and that team should have a lead or an AA governance person who would be able to see, okay, how the data is biased or not. They should be able to work closely with the data scientists and see whether the data is biased or not. Else, we won't end up in having where we will have a worst scenario like TIE, or when we roll the product to the public. So that is why being prepared. Always test not the good things. Always test for the worst scenarios when you do the regression testing for your own product or for a business product, so that you know that whatever the user utterance is going to be. I'm all talking in the form of with an example as a bot, but I'm sure you get the point, because how a data scientist plays such a critical role, right? So humility, you need to have lots and lots of patience. You have to be a great listener to understand the problem, the business requirements, be a great collaborator, valued member, all those things. That's what these 5 traits that you need to carry. And of course, the programming is there. You need to have the statistics, understanding mathematics. So I do not want to go over that over and over again, because you guys know about it, right? So moving forward, it's going to be quick. So what does it take to be a data scientist? We saw about these 3 skills. If you have the Python or SQL, just please give me 2 more minutes. Mahesh, I should be wrapping up, and Narendra, thank you. And all these skills that you see here, you do not need to have all these skills. Take one skill and master it, and that is what everybody is looking for. Okay, every organization where you apply for, it's looking for. In fact, I would suggest start with a startup. If you're trying for all big organizations, and if you're not getting it, start with a startup. The place that I am working right now is a startup within a huge insurtech domain. So that's basically they are doing a digital transformation, because insurance is more traditional oriented. So we are doing a digital transformation, going completely automated, making all insurtech, rather having the traditional insurance procedures. Okay, so starting with startup, you will learn quite a lot. That's what I meant to say. Okay, so machine learning models and algorithms, all these algorithms are there. Definitely you will be learning in your course, and you will be picking it up from the MOOC platforms and whatnot. It's like we are flooded with information right outside. So, and right now with COVID, everybody is offering free courses. So just take one course that you really would enjoy and master it. Okay, and that's what, when students come to me, I tell you do not have to have all the things checked in your for the job role that they are asking for. If you're skilled in two to at least 2, then just go for it. If you think that you have to be, you don't have to be a seasoned professional, but you have to have the advanced skill set, then just go for it. So Python is taught in 3rd grade. So I'm pretty sure that we could be able to master that, right? So I've talked about career development. You need to take the side projects, side hustle. Just if you're getting paid for it, it's just a side hustle for you, right? Or you take project that won't get paid either, but you will learn a lot. Okay. And personality traits I already talked about. You need to have the soft skills, the communication skills. So moving forward, this is the last slide I want to talk about, where what we look for. I hired data scientists, and I hired in when I was as a chair at the ASU as well. So the resume expressing the interest in data science in 2 lines at the top in the objective, what exactly you are looking for, and then why, what interests you to come to this role, whether it's an intern or whatever the role that you're applying for. And then Kaggle competitions, just an example I'm giving, or clubs you are involved in, or you have involved in, or interesting data science projects that you have worked with. Those are the things we see. We do not see what the list of courses you have completed and the excellence in your own field. Whether you're a mathematics major, still, how excellent were you in that mathematics? Did you go for a math Olympiad or did some competitions in math? That's good enough for me. And that skill that they might look for if you are coming from a non-computer science major. And skills, presentation, how good you present. They will give a mock presentation and they will ask you to do in order to test. We do that. And then one algorithm they will ask you to test. And then software engineering skills, little bit that they will test you on. And how well you are a team fit. If you move forward in your interview, the team fit would be done by some managerial role person. And then how intellectually you are curious, technically driven, drive for accuracy, and all the attributes that you can show, at least one or couple of attributes that you show up for a scientific mind. These are the things that they look for in a data scientist role when you go for as an interview. Okay, and this one I took it from KD Nuggets, so where it talks about math, statistics. See, I mentioned about domain knowledge and soft skills, and so all this programming. Just be good at one couple of things, but have a strong base, and that is all is needed, and then you are good to go. So thank you so much, and for giving me this opportunity. I'm happy to answer any questions. So hold on. Let me go here. Okay, Shiva. So you can Google and see. Why I'm saying is take a couple of roles and see what they look for. The machine learning engineer and the data scientist. Okay, data science engineer or a data scientist. These terms might be interchangeably used, but if you notice that most of the requirements that they are asking for overlaps. Just the terminology that they use might be different. In ML especially, that they might look for more big data experience, and in data science engineering role that they look for what